First at 9. This is Other Derana 24/7.
Second phase of Central Expressway gets underway. Port protesters dispersed with water cannons and tear gas. Former UN Chief Ban Ki-moon drops out from South Korean presidential bid. And Sri Lankan visually impaired cricketers make Sri Lanka proud. Good evening, welcome to Other Derana 24/7. I'm Harshni Ranasinghe. Police used water cannons and tear gas to disperse protesting port employees at Lotus Road in Colombo today. The protest march organized by the National Trade Union Centre dispersed as protesters attempted to proceed towards the presidential secretariat disregarding a court order. The protest march commenced near the Khan Clock Tower at Colombo Fort around noon today. Protesters accused the government of attempting to sell the east terminal of Colombo Port to an Indian company. Later, protesters marched via Lotus Road towards the presidential secretariat to hand over a communique opposing the government's alleged attempt at selling public property. Police had earlier obtained an enjoining order preventing protesters from proceeding towards the presidential secretariat. The Other Derana reporter said that a discussion had been scheduled with an official of the presidential secretariat. However, as no such discussion took place for about half an hour, the crowd attempted to proceed towards the presidential secretariat, prompting police to use tear gas and water cannons. Construction on the second phase of the Central Expressway commenced today under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Phase 2 of the project, covering the section from Meerigama to Kurunegala, is estimated at 137 billion rupees. The Central Expressway project connecting the western, Sabragamur, central, northwestern and north central provinces will be built across Kadavatha and Damulla. The first phase of the project from Kadavatha to Meerigama, covering 37 kilometers, commenced on the 12th of August 2015. The second phase from Meerigama to Kurunegala covers a 39.29 kilometer stretch. It will consist of 4 lanes. The second phase is expected to be completed by 2019.
We need to make Sri Lankans stronger. That is why we gave the responsibility of the project's second phase to a team of 14 Sri Lankan companies. Until now, all of these companies came to Sri Lanka under contract of foreign companies. Once those companies built an expressway meeting international standards, they are recognized to construct similar expressways in other countries too. We have given Sri Lankan companies the opportunity under one condition. They should construct a few other expressways abroad once they complete this project.
Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena says the government's objective is to unite the nation through meaningful reconciliation among communities. The President was speaking at a ceremony held at the Kalawanchikudi Base Hospital in Batticaloa today. President Maithripala Sirisena presided over a ceremony to declare open a newly built outpatients department and ward complex at the Kalawanchikudi Base Hospital in Batticaloa.
ජාතීන් අතර සමගියත් සංහිඳියාවත් ඇති කිරීම සඳහා මූලික විසඳුමක් විදිහට අපි අලුත් ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවක කටයුතු මේ වන විට කරගෙන යනවා.
We are drafting the new constitution with a view to create reconciliation among communities. Some express false views about our efforts. It is their view that we are attempting to divide and destroy the country. They also allege that we are under foreign influence. We reject these statements as they are baseless. Opposition leader Sambandhan said that there is a need to devolve power without dividing the country in order to bring about reconciliation in the country. The government is working towards this, and we intend on completing groundwork within the next few months. At the time, the Provincial Councils Act was passed in Parliament. Some expressed the opinion that visas will be required to travel from one province of the country to the other. They complained about the matter just as they complain about it now. Our hope is to unite all Sri Lankans to move forward as a nation.
අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මුළු රටේ ජනතාව එකතු කරන එකම රටක් විදිහට කටයුතු කරන්න.
The Financial Crimes Investigations Division has informed court investigations relating to the case filed against former Deputy Minister Vinayagamurthy Muralidharan alias Karna Amman on charges of misusing state property is concluded. Accordingly, FCID has informed the Colombo Magistrates Court that the relevant investigation reports were handed over to the Attorney General for further legal action. Former Deputy Minister Vinayagamurthy Muralidharan is accused of misusing state vehicles worth 90 million rupees without returning them at the end of his term in office. Meanwhile, lawyers appearing for the defendant have requested court to reduce the bail conditions and take into consideration security threats against the accused when he has to appear before the FCID every Sunday. Consequently, the Magistrates Court has reduced the bail conditions and has ordered Vinayagamurthy Muralidharan to report to the FCID at the beginning of every month. The All Ceylon Medical Officers Association says it is ready to lead a struggle against the appeal court ruling on the South Asian Institute of Technology and Medicine yesterday. Addressing a media briefing today, members of the association said they will initiate a strike action soon. The Court of Appeal yesterday ruled that the South Asian Institute of Technology and Medicine is legally eligible to issue valid medical degrees to students. The verdict was announced yesterday when a petition questioning the decision of Sri Lanka Medical Council on CITEM was taken up for hearing at the Court of Appeal. Meanwhile, medical faculty students of the University of Peradeniya carried out a protest today against the appeal court ruling. The All Ceylon Medical Officers Association said they will appeal against yesterday's ruling.
We are not going to accept this appeal court ruling. People of the country know that SAITM cannot produce medical doctors who are up to standard. It is something quite obvious, and there is no way of stopping an uprising against that ruling. The Court of Appeal gave its ruling, and the Sri Lanka Medical Officers Association has the right to challenge the same in a Supreme Court and nullify it. If the government is considering involving the judiciary to get away with the SAITM problem, we will not allow it to happen.
Welcome back. Colombo stocks ended on a near 10-month low as thin market activity was witnessed throughout the session. Turnover plunged to a low of 132 million rupees today. For more from the trading floor, we have RM Sivanandan from the Colombo Stock Exchange.
The benchmark all-share price index lost 2.61 points to close at 6,130.07. while the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index gained 1.3 points to close at 3,490.91. The turnover was 132.46 million rupees with 4.75 million shares changing hands in 1,682 trades. The market capitalization at the end of the day was 2,702.51 billion rupees. Top 5 gainers of the day were Swarnamal Financial Services, Singh Hospitals, Berwala Resorts, Lucky Lanka Non-Voting and Softlogic Capital. While the top 5 losers were Onali, SMB Leasing, Pegasus Hotels, Venecia and Tessegro. Today there were 2 crossings and the crossing turnover was 49.45 million rupees. Today's foreign purchases was 43.74 million rupees and the foreign sales was 37.2 million rupees.
The Sri Lankan rupee ended slightly firm today due to dollar inflows from remittances and exported dollar sales after the dollar weakened overnight against major currencies. Today, the US dollar failed to recover much ground against key currencies after making its worst start to a year in 3 decades. We now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other currencies. The Lover's Leap waterfall, once a preferred tourist destination, has become a mere rock. Derana probed into the matter and found that the water is being diverted using pipes. This is how the Lover's Leap waterfall situated in Nuwara used to look like. Unfortunately, this is its current state. Derana reached the starting point of the Lover's Leap waterfall through the Pidurthalagala reservation to find out why it has dried up. This is where we witnessed the water being diverted to another area via pipelines. According to villagers, a politician is involved in this process of transferring water.
This is a great tragedy. Someone is taking water out of the waterfall using about 7 pipes. Tourists come to see this waterfall and ask us if they came to see this rock. Some of the villagers are taking water out of this waterfall using 7 pipes. This water falling from the Lover's Leap is used by the villagers and even the hospital. There is no water in the waterfall now. Only the rock is left. Basically, we don't have water to drink. We have been informing authorities about this issue for some time now, but no one has taken any action.
Not only the waterfall, the villagers are facing a dire drinking water problem as well because of this situation. Derana will be following the issue until action is taken against those who turn this waterfall into a barren land. In foreign news, former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon ruled himself out of the running for South Korea's top job today, disappointed at the selfish ways of some politicians in his home country. He was once considered the front runner to be the next South Korean president.
At an unscheduled news conference at Parliament, former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said after meeting leaders of conservative parties that it was meaningless to join them. Ban returned to South Korea on January the 12th after 10 years as UN chief, but had been unable to capitalize on his much-anticipated homecoming, getting mired in a series of perceived PR gaffes and a scandal involving family members. After peaking at nearly 30% last year, his support ratings in opinion polls had slipped to second place behind the presidential candidate for the main opposition Democratic Party. Conservative President Park Geun-hye has been impeached by Parliament amid a wide-ranging corruption scandal. Ban had been expected to run as a Conservative, but was unable to secure any party affiliation. If the impeachment vote against Park is upheld by the Constitutional Court, she will have to quit, and an election would be held 2 months later.
The UN Security Council has warned of a dangerous deterioration in eastern Ukraine and called on warring sides to halt the violence. The Council said renewed fighting was having a severe impact on civilians.
Fighting between Ukrainian troops and pro-Russia rebels in the frontline town of Avdiivka has left thousands of residents without water or power in freezing conditions. The UN Security Council has called on warring sides to halt the violence, with the escalation seen as the worst outbreak in several weeks. Each side blames the other for the upsurge in violence. Ukraine says it is preparing a possible evacuation of the town to avoid a humanitarian crisis. The statement did not raise objections from Russia, a permanent member of the Council, which has in the past routinely blocked statements put forward by Ukraine.
Nearly 2,000 people floated in a line in a salty lake in Argentina, setting a new Guinness World Record for the most number of people floating while holding hands.
Members of the Guinness Book of Records certified that 1,941 people floated simultaneously for 30 seconds in Lake Epecuén, located to the southeast of the Buenos Aires province. The previous record was set on June 28th in 2014 in Sun Moon Lake in Taiwan, when 634 people floated in line using flotation devices. Participants in Argentina floated unaided in Lake Epecuén due to saltiness of the water. The lake is hypermarine and contains almost 10 times more salt than the sea, helping participants to float naturally.
Sprinting great Usain Bolt is refusing to dwell on the disappointment of losing his Beijing Olympics 4x100 meters gold medal after his Jamaican teammate Nesta Carter tested positive for a banned stimulant.
Usain Bolt, who completed a remarkable treble of 100 meters, 200 meters and 4x100 meters Olympic titles at the 2016 Rio Games, had his 2008 relay gold stripped last month after Nesta Carter's retested sample indicated he had taken methylhexylamine. Carter had already said he would appeal the decision to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The International Olympic Committee, however, ordered Carter and teammates Bolt, Asafa Powell and Michael Frater to return their medals. Bolt will lead an international team of all-stars in the Nitro Athletics Series in Melbourne against 4 other teams representing England, China, New Zealand and Japan.
Initially disappointed, of course, but in life things happen. I'm not sad. I'm waiting to see what Nesta is going to do, if he's going to appeal. It's something that I've been looking forward to. I've been training, I've been getting ready, so I'm excited to go something different.
In other sports stories, the second one-day international match between Sri Lanka and South Africa started in Durban today. South Africa scored 307 for 6 in their 50 overs. David Miller scored an unbeaten 117, while Faf du Plessis made 105. Sri Lanka's Lakmal picked 2 wickets for 54.
The Sri Lankans, up goes that finger. He hasn't decided to review that, so he thinks he's out. He's full toss. He's hit it down. Got him. That's the wicket.
Gone. There's the wicket from the pressure.
He hasn't got enough with it, Faf du Plessis, and the catch is taken.
Shouts of catch it. Head straight to the... That is superbly played. Just opens the face of the blade and it works the ball over backward point away.
The Sri Lankan visually impaired cricket team was able to win the second match in the Blind Cricket 2020 World Cup. They defeated the West Indies team by 130 runs.
Batting first, the Sri Lankan team scored 281 runs with 8 wickets in hand. Suranga Sampath scored his second century in the tournament, making an unbeaten 116 off 64 balls. Captain Chandana Deshapriya scored 108 off 52 deliveries. In the end of the 20 overs, the West Indies team was able to muster only 151 runs, with 8 of their players being dismissed. Suranga Sampath was awarded the Man of the Match award.
Suranga Sampath played the match well today. We have to face Pakistan in tomorrow's match. We believe that we can bring victory to Sri Lanka just as today's match.
On to the weather forecast for tomorrow now. Mainly fair and dry weather with colder nights and mornings can be expected over many parts of the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and southern provinces during the morning. Let's now take a look at the city-by-city weather forecast. That is a part of your world tonight here on Other Derana 24/7. For the very latest in local, international, business, sports and weather, do log on to www.otherderana.lk. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Harshni Ranasinghe. Good night.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.